Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another day of Intelligence Maxing. What is this, day 82 now? So, close to day 100. I am tired. I woke up like 10 minutes ago. But lied in bed, scrolled on my phone. Now, waiting for Allison to come by, and then gonna do some flashcards in the meantime. So let's get right into it. How am I forecasting CapEx spending for Intel? Okay, so I think this was referring to the Intel model I made that I want to say is using guidance in 2024 and 2025 from David Zinsner, the CFO, and Pat Gelsinger, CEO. Guess when they were CEO and CFO. Back in, I want to say their Q2 earnings call was sometime in October, I want to say. Okay, so I think their 2025 target CapEx spend was in the 20 billion range. And then 2026, I don't think they guided 2026, I could be wrong. But then after that, I think I just forecasted as a percent of either net income or revenues. 2024, 2025. Percent of revenue. Got it. What are the 4 locations that Intel is planning to expand capacity that qualify for the US CHIPS grant in 2024? Right, so there was 3 wafer fabrication plants, and then 1 advanced packaging facility. Rio Rancho, New Mexico was the advanced packaging. I forgot the exact numbers, but there's like fab something. I think there's 2 facilities actually for packaging in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. And then there was a wafer fabrication, I think 2 wafer fabrication plants in Chandler, Arizona. And then I think they were upgrading parts of their R&D campus in Hillsboro, Oregon. And then finally they had 2 facilities in New Albany, Ohio, Licking County. Got it. Okay. 2024, what were Intel's plans for foundries in New Albany, Ohio? How does this impact Intel's manufacturing? Right, I think their goal was to create this silicon campus. I want to say there were plans to build 3 buildings, and the total cost was estimated to be about $20 billion. So that's $5 billion per building. Oh wow, okay, very wrong. $285 billion for both. 2 leading edge logic fabs in New Albany, Ohio. Okay, I do want to get the source for that. What is Intel's foundry plans for Chandler, Arizona? How does it impact 18A? Right. I think the plan was, according to this article, and according to Naga, I think he's the SVP, Senior Vice President of Intel Foundry Services, IFS. So the goal for the Chandler campus is to eventually have high volume manufacturing for their 18A process. And that is forecasted to be in the second half of 2025. The first half of 2025, I believe 18A, the first customer tape outs. So if you're an AWS, Microsoft, an AMD, a Qualcomm, Broadcom that wants to build a chip and manufacture a chip, those are going to be the first engineering samples you're going to get on 18A in first half of 2025. Okay, the foundry plans for Chandler, Arizona. So I know they had an existing manufacturing site there, and I want to say there's about $24 billion going in to build one specific wafer fabrication plant that is going to be the high volume manufacturing facility for 18A. And I think there's two of those. So in total, it's probably going to be around $50 billion. Constructing 2 leading edge fabs. Okay. Clearwater Forest on its Arizona facilities. Fab cost. I want to double check. Okay, I do need to get some water. Okay, so it doesn't seem like it's per facility, but 28 billion total. Oops. Clearwater Forest. Estimated cost of the construction / modernization of Chandler, Arizona. Okay, so you have 2 fabs and an existing fab expansion. So I think the projected cost of each of those fabs is around $14 billion. So for the new construction, the greenfield construction. And the existing brownfield investment, I want to say that is in the $6 to $8 billion range. Okay, if that were the case, I would be close. Like 14 plus 14, that's 28. 28 plus $4 billion, that's 32. Okay. Alright, take it. What is the estimated cost of Intel's construction of new sites in New Albany in Ohio? Describe what is going on at a high level. Okay, so I think 28 billion. Right, they're creating a manufacturing site. I don't know what I meant by what's going on at a high level. 28 billion. 2 fab sites. 2 new fabs. Okay, that's good to know. How does the revenue breakdown tab work at a high level? Oh, right, this is for my Intel model. Okay, so I want to say there's 5 5 different business segments that Intel currently operates, or they reported in Q2 up to Q2 2024. I think they changed that. I want to say they combined parts of their networking business into their client compute group business. Damn, I can't talk. But at the time, I had 5 different business segments. Client compute group, data center and artificial intelligence, networking and edge, automotive, aka Mobileye, and then Intel Foundry Services. So the big ones I forecasted were definitely the client compute group and then the data center group. Data center and artificial intelligence group, and then Intel Foundry Services as well. For the client compute group, I remember I structured it so that I could forecast the number of shipments for PCs, both desktop and notebook, or aka laptop PCs. And how did that process work? So I want to say I was able to get the number of shipments for PCs and the forecasts of those, and break that down by the actual type, so whether it was a desktop and whether it was a laptop. I think in 2020 to 2021, that's when the shipment of PCs really peaked at around 320 million, I want to say, somewhere around that range. And then in 2023, 2024, that number of shipments is a lot less. I want to say in the 200 million. To 300 million range, right? Nothing above 300. Okay, so there's number of shipments of PCs, and then I think from that, what are the x86 shipments of those PCs? And then from the x86 number, it's okay, what percent of these processors are not ARM, but AMD, and what percent of those processors are Intel? And I think historically, way back in the 2010s, Intel captured 85 to 90% of the market. But today, in client PCs, that number is more like 75 to 80% market share. And then in the data center segment, I want to say it could be the case where Intel is actually being overtaken by AMD. Yeah. Okay, double checking something. Got it. So, and then I did that for both the PC I'd say for both the desktop and the notebook business. And I think I also try to estimate the actual unit volume and the average selling price of the CPUs. So I remember Intel, they give you the percent change in volume and the percent change in the ASP, but they don't actually give you the exact number. So I was able to use some of the models that Morningstar had made on PitchBook, and they had estimates of what the actual numerical value is, and then built my model off of that. So that was the client segment. I want to say there's a few abstractions I just made for the networking, Mobileye, and data center business. I just slapped the growth rate on that. Call it a day. Call it a day. With the IFS business, the Intel Foundry Services business, that was a bit more hands-on. So I think what I did was I took either wafer shipments by million square inches. I think that's the term or the metric that's used by the industry. So MSI, million square inches. And then I also took TSMC's wafer shipments. So each quarter, they usually ship about 300 millimeter wafers to customers. 3 to 4 million. I think their capacity today is around 16 million, and that's probably going to increase in the future. I want to say TSMC is continuing to build out different fabs, especially in the US. I know they have a fab coming up online in 2025 in Arizona, and then 2027, 2028, they have another fab coming online. And then I think slapped the growth rate on the Intel Foundry Service business, and then also just use what the CFO forecasted. I think in 2028 to 2029, they want to achieve around $15 billion in revenue to break even. Okay, so I felt like I was missing something, and it's the Altera business, the FPGA. Okay. Client Compute Group segment, so I just talked about that using the PC business model. Unit sell-through, sell-in, x86 sell-through, sell-in, okay, and then Intel versus AMD market share, right? Okay, that computes the Intel CPU volume and then ASP growth, Intel. Right, antibody drug conjugates. So antibody drug conjugates are a type of technology. Oh, I want to see if, okay. I want to say it's a type of emerging technology in biology and pharmaceuticals. But it's a way of essentially creating a homing missile, I want to say. Like a missile tracker. The idea is you can kind of bind or selectively bind with a cancer cell using an antibody. And then on that antibody, you've linked some type of drug. I guess most antibodies are Y-shaped, so I don't know what the actual term is called, but there is this stem for the Y, and that's usually where the drug itself is linked. So you have this dangerous or toxic payload that is used to kill off a cancer cell, and the antibody itself is used to bind with the cancer cell. Monoclonal antibody, engineered antibody, and cytotoxins, chemicals toxic to cells to bind with cancer cells and kill them with a toxic payload. Right, so I think this is what I was referring to sometimes. Antibodies, they have this Y-shaped structure, and then this is the stem where they have some type of linker that links to some cytotoxic drug. I guess a warhead for destroying cancer cells. Yeah. In the US, what are the entities/participants involved in the flow of money when someone buys a drug? How many are there in 2019? So I remember this was a video from the Wall Street Journal. And when someone buys a drug, there's, I want to say, 5 big participants in this supply chain. the first one is the actual manufacturer of the drug, like an Eli Lilly for insulin, or maybe a Pfizer for the COVID vaccine. And then that drug is usually shipped or distributed by some type of drug distributor, a Cardinal Health, a McKesson, and then a pharmacy is where customers can actually go buy a drug. That pharmacy usually gets a claim or files a claim to an insurance company, so a United Healthcare, a Blue Cross Blue Shield, and then that Blue Cross Blue Shield will try to get rebates by negotiating with or contracting with a pharmacy benefit manager, a PBM, that then goes back to the drug manufacturer to say, give me some rebates. We'll put you high up on the formulary on an insurance company. So I think that's how it works at a very high level. Today's 2024, so maybe that's changed. But I know the idea of pharmacy benefit managers has been pretty controversial in the past. All right, so this is the formulary placement. And then this is the wholesaler, pharmacy, drug coverage. Okay. What is HFR, hedge fund research? I think it's just a platform used like AxiomMax. But I want to say hedge fund research has indexes. So like HFRI indexes that are used to benchmark absolute return investments. Okay, timeline for Intel microarchitectures, tech generation since 2015 and 2023. So this is probably directly for their client, not their data center microarchitectures. So I want to say Raptor Lake. Raptor Lake, Meteor Lake, Elder Lake. That's 2023, 2022, 2021. Okay. Yeah, I keep forgetting this. It's very hard for me to remember. I know Coffee Lake, Cabby Lake, Sky Lake. P cores and E cores, I think that was first introduced with Alder Lake, maybe in 2022, I want to say. So right now, the most recent generation chips on the mobile side or the laptop side is Lunar Lake, and then on the desktop side, it's Air Lake. So that's 2024. Let's take a look. Alder Lake, Raptor Lake, Broadwell Lake, Cabby Lake, Comet Lake, Rocket Lake. Okay, let's just actually simplify this to 2000. And I kind of want to get a source for this. Line Cove. Okay, what's Emerald Rapids? Meteor Lake. Okay. Series 1, designed by Intel. Lunar Lake Hybrid, Panther Lake, TBD. Okay, so this is built on Intel 4, Intel 18A. Got it. For the client segment, so desktop and I'll call these products. I don't know if they're micro architectures. Notebook. (2023), okay, Raptor Lake. Meteor Lake, it seems like that was. Okay. 2023, December 20. Meteor Lake. First Core Ultra processor. So it seems like this was for and first chiplet, first Intel chiplet processor. Okay. Raptor Lake, so this is the Core Series 1. I guess this is 13th and 14th generation. Mobile and desktop processor. So first hybrid microarchitecture with very small and efficient cores. Okay. (10 nanometer). So 10 nanometer was established in 2018. So they used it all the way for Ice Lake, 10th generation. Okay. Tiger Lake, 11th gen. Okay, what's the next? Core Ultra Series 2. 13/14th gen Core. First gen Core Ultra. Okay. So I guess Alder Lake then was 12th gen. Core. Yeah, I won't do that. Rocket Lake, Cypress Cove. Okay, Tiger Lake. Wait, 2021. Rocket Lake isn't even on here. Where is Rocket Lake? Cypress Cove. Okay. Comet Lake. And Tiger Lake was also 11. Oh, this is for the mobile processors. Oh, but that was on 14 nanometer, seems like. Next unit. Okay, I will just get rid of that for now. I don't want to deal with it. Take a look at it later. But I think it's worth going through. Okay, so Alder Lake, December. Raptor Lake was... October 2022, Raptor Lake, Alder Lake, it's 2021 then, okay. So November 2021, it's worth, I think it's worth knowing. 12th Gen Core. Okay, I'm getting a call. Hello? Hey. Up to you. I feel like it would be nice to go with you together. Oh, driving to Virginia? Like, from College Park? Do you want to or not? Yeah, why don't we see what time you get here by? In Alexandria? Okay. I think I can still metro. $12:30. You think that's too late? Yeah, I haven't heard from them this morning. I told them we would get there at 12. I think I It's fine. Here, why don't you drive here first, and then when you get here, you can see. Yeah. But drive safe. No need to rush. No need to rush. Hmm? You look crazy. Okay, I'll look crazy too. Mm. I'll put on like half done makeup too. 4K. Yeah, yeah. What happened?怎么了？ Yeah, take your time. No worries. I just let them know. Nah, those extra minutes probably came in clutch. Get to sleep, get to sleep. No, it's okay. Are you gonna go back and get them? Okay, I have a pair of sunglasses for you if you want. No worries, no worries. Alright, drive safe. I'll see you soon. I told him it wasn't your fault. I didn't even say it was your fault. Yeah, yeah. We don't have to tell him. You don't have to tell him your story. What are you sorry for? It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Alright, then get here before the world. I said you better be here before the world ends. Alright, I'm gonna go back to my stream. I'll see you. I'll see you soon. Alright. Bye. Alright, back to the stream. We're back. Raptor Lake, Meteor Lake, first core ultra mobile processor. Alright. I like that. Try to add OAuth picture framework here. An open standard. AOL, OpenID Connect. Okay, so I guess the purpose of OAuth, let's take a look. But it seems like it's to grant access to something. 有什么可以帮忙的? I think that's what it says. 给 ChatGPT 发送 something. I don't know what that says. What OAuth is used for and what OAuth 2.0 is. Got it. Okay. What deck is this? Cybersecurity. Okay. Vesting. Subdeck. Subdeck. 1. Industries. Technology. Cybersecurity. What is the OAuth framework? Okay. So OAuth. What does OAuth stand for? Open authorization is a standard protocol so that allows, okay. That allows users, okay, to grant third-party, okay, to grant third-party applications limited access to a resource the user controls. This without sharing any credentials. So username, password, I guess. Example. An example of OAuth. The OAuth protocol in use is when an app is a third-party app say Microsoft Teams is able to schedule a meeting on your Google Calendar. Call it Zoom, maybe. Okay. Oops. Call it Source. ChatGPT. Okay, so OAuth framework, it seems like what it is, it's a way for a user to grant access to a third-party application for some specific resource. And an example of this is you have a Zoom call that you want to schedule, and so that immediately gets uploaded to, or whenever you schedule that Zoom call, it gets immediately transferred and uploaded onto a Google Calendar. So I would imagine that if you're the user of the Google Calendar, the third-party app would be the Zoom application, and then resource that you own is your calendar, but somehow there's a way for you to be able to write to the calendar using Zoom. Okay, open authorization. As of 2023, how many fabs does Intel have in production? I think 10 locations. Maybe 14? 11, okay. 8 locations, never mind. It's close. Yeah, this one's gonna be pretty hard. Arizona, Fab 52, 62. New Mexico, oh, right. So that's done, I want to say. The packaging and expansion. 2 fabs, 1 support building, Israel, Malaysia, packing, Poland. Testing fab, okay. Wait, this is 10 largest construction projects. I guess 8 locations then. Being constructed. When comparing the business models of Visa and Amex, which one has higher revenues? Which ones have higher net margins? Yeah, I think Visa and Amex, Visa has a revenue of, I want to say, $30 to $32 billion. Amex has a revenue of $74 billion in 2023. And net margins, though, for Amex is, I want to say, in the 12% range. So somewhere above 7 billion, maybe like at 8 to 9 billion. But Visa has a 50% plus net margin. So they're bringing in $15 billion plus of net income in 2023. And I remember this was actually given to the Acquired, or within the Acquired podcast at some point. $74 billion in revenue. 15%. Okay. Asset light payment network earning 30 billion in revenues in 2023 as a result of assessment fees and data processing fees. And then I think they also have a lot of these value add services that they're putting on customers. So I think like fraud protection, maybe credit card consulting or credit consulting. And interest paid on customer deposits, right? That's a big thing there. So let's do deck, investing, sub deck, industries, so deck 2. Is this finance? Like finance? Yeah. And then payments. Yeah, I'm gonna copy that. Okay. So I'd say it's pretty good. What is the approximate Q1 2023 revenues of Client Compute Group? How did it compare to quarter over quarter and year over year? Yeah, so I want to say $5.7 billion worth of Client Compute Group. So quarter over quarter, I think it was maybe a negative 13% decline. So maybe like a 6.1, 6.2 billion. But year over year, it was a negative 38%, I remember. So, man, that's a lot. yeah, maybe like an $8 billion Q1 revenue for 2022. And this was right after. Okay, I guess that was probably still when stimulus payments, that money was flowing into the economy, I think. And interest rates, I don't think started to get hiked until. Yeah, I want to say maybe until like mid 2022, so sometime in spring, summer. 3.5 billion. So that would have put this at 5, like negative 870 million. 3.5 billion would have put it at $9.2 billion in Q1 2022. So that's almost, it's a 36 billion annualized revenue business. Damn. Yeah. But I think then their market cap was higher than it was in 2023. Could be wrong. Okay, 13% to Q4 2022. Okay. I want to say semiconductors, Intel. Okay, nice. Deck investing. And why don't we actually link to Intel 10Q? Oops. Oh, they don't have an HTML file, do they? Maybe they do. Okay, imagine it's probably this. Okay, they do not have an HTML. Maybe it's on Edgar though. FCC Edgar. Intel Corp. Open document. Okay. Should be it. There we go. Nice. Nice. All right. And I want to say, so this should show CCG revenues. Oh, okay. This is the wrong one. 2023. This is what we need. 0.3. So it is around 5.7. Okay. say that's pretty solid. Capital One's interest income off credit cards in 2023. What percent of total revenues with that was that, and what was the average balance outstanding, average yield, and rate? Interest income off credit cards in 2023, I want to say was around 26 billion. 24 billion. Percent of revenues. Trying to think. What was the 24? Was that net interest income? I don't. So there's $600 billion worth of spend about, and I think the actual outstanding balance on the cards, like 1 in 6 maybe carry a balance, or 1 in 6. $1 is carried for every $6 spent, so that's about 100 billion. And when you have 15% of 100 billion, I think that's what the average yield and rate was. That's around $15 billion. But I want to say that the average balance was around 150. I could be wrong, but 150. Global credit card debt was around 50. I guess U.S. credit card debt was 1 trillion. All right. So it could be around that 15% range, maybe even higher, like 160, 180. 26 billion, 140 billion, 68% of total revenues. So it was 26 billion. Okay. Yeah, with that being said, I am probably going to go interest expense for depository institutions. It went higher. I think it went higher. Yeah, so net interest income started to compress. At least that margin started to compress. So net interest margins, right? Oh, shoot. Debit card, or the credit card, right. Huh, I'm surprised it's in banks. Okay, so with that, I think I'm going to end this here, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.